500 billion rand. That is the amount of money that the South African government has supposedly put aside for COVID-19 fiscal stimulus. But let's unpack that figure in more detail. So if you dive deeper into this figure of 500 billion rand, you will see that only 130 billion is allocated from existing expenditure, i.e. the original budget that was tabled by the finance minister in February of this year. So that 130 has been rediverted to COVID relief efforts. Then you have 40 billion rand, which is in the form of unemployment insurance funding. So that's from the UIF, that was a ring-fenced fund already. Then you also have 200 billion rand, which is a significant tranche of that 500, which is in the form of bank guarantees. So this is not money that is immediately available. These are guarantees to the commercial banks in the event of mass delinquency or defaults on their commercial loans. So if you strip away all of these additional expenditure items, like for example, temporary tax relief, you'll see that there's only really about 170 billion rand that is readily available. So that seems a lot more modest now. But you should also take into account the fact that government revenues are going to be plummeting, and this is due mostly to the hazardous effects of the economic lockdown which the government has imposed on the economy. And the consequences of that in terms of our fiscal deficits are going to be extreme. When the finance minister spoke in February, he indicated that we'd have an already large fiscal deficit for the financial year ahead of just under 7%, or about 370 billion rand deficit. That is now set to widen extraordinarily to about 13% fiscal deficit. So that's the difference between revenues received and expenditure. Government is spending well beyond its means. In order to finance that, the government is going to have to turn to increased borrowing. So our cost of capital has now gone up in the face of the sovereign credit rating downgrades from Fitch and Moody's. And so there is a very large gap there. There is a high degree of reluctance to approach international financial institutions like the IMF. We've seen the finance minister having to calm the members of the tripartite alliance, such as the secretaries of the Communist Party, the ANC, and COSATU, who are adamantly opposed to any source of IMF funding. Even then, the current IMF funding that is available, which is about $4 billion or so, that is specifically for COVID relief. That would not be the usual structural adjustment type of package with various conditions attached to that, such as relaxing the labor market, regulatory framework, or curtailing government expenditure on the public sector wage bill, for example. So the government finds itself in an extremely constrained context, mostly of its own making. South Africa entered the COVID-19 crisis already in a state of fiscal crisis. We explore this and other themes in the latest edition of the Macro Review, which is a report that is available exclusively to clients of the Centre for Risk Analysis. So if you'd like more information on these and other reports, please do feel free to contact us. There are details in the description below. We'd be happy to talk you through that. We're also offering exclusively to our clients COVID-19 scenario briefings, where we look at the impacts of the crisis both domestically and situate that within a global context. So do reach out to us if you'd like to hear our analysis on the crisis and the economic fallout of the lockdown. My name is David Ansara of the Centre for Risk Analysis. Until we speak again, take care and stay safe.